Hey, Steve Gamache here once again with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. And what we're looking at this time is the Gihei Awagami or Blue Number 2 Tall Petty 165mm knife. So the core steel in this line of knives is Awagami, or what's known as Blue Paper Number 2 Reactive High Carbon Steel from Hitachi. The target heat treat on that's about 62 to 63 Rockwell, so they put a little bit of hardness into it, and that should, make for nice edge retention. The construction is 3 layers, so on either side of that harder core steel, which is reactive, they've got a softer stainless steel non-reactive cladding, and that cladding does cover the spine on this knife. And so the part that you got to really work at maintaining is just that core steel exposed at the edge, so it does make maintenance a little bit easier job. The weights and dimensions on these will vary a little bit because they're hand-hammered knives, but this is 108 grams or 3.8 ounces. And the edge length of right about 165, about 6.5 inches. Overall length just about right on the money for a foot, about 306 millimeters. And then the style that this blacksmith puts out, they're thick, kind of sturdy, stiff knives. So they're pretty thick coming out of the handle. Even this size knife is about 3.7 millimeters coming out of the handle, but then it thins up pretty quick. So about halfway down, I measured it at 1.9, so it thins up nicely, and then pretty much just holds that all the way through until you get to the grind and the tip, which thins out pretty nicely at the very tip. So these have a reputation for being good performing knives. They're thin at the edge, and they're thin at the tip, but they've got a stiffness to them. The height on this is about 37.3 or 3.5, so it's got some height to it, which is the whole point of the knife. And then the handle, I'm a little perplexed by the handle because it's a full-size handle. So it's an oval hoe wood or magnolia wood with a buffalo horn ferrule. It's a really nice handle, and it's very smooth here at this junction, really smooth. Tight finish, or tight fit on the seal job on the tang install here where the tang meets the handle. But it's a full-size 3-inch circumference, 75 millimeters, where the horn meets the wood. And that's more for a gyuto style. So I think the handle's a little oversized on these. So I'll talk to Mark about it. Maybe with future versions, they want to shrink that down a little bit because you're going to lose some board height on this. Part of the whole purpose of a tall petty is board height. If you were to put a thinner handle on this, maybe 68 millimeters or something like that, you'll get a whole different perspective on, clearance on it because you've got a pretty thin neck. And that neck also probably is a little longer, and you could move the handle back a little bit. So this is a nice knife, and if you are up for something like this, this could easily go for a custom handle, totally change the knife, and really increase the utility of it, in my opinion. Let's take a close-up look at it after having bashed the handle thoroughly. So I could be giving you the video. I could be doing another video at some point in the future with a smaller handle. We'll see what Mark has to say. So these have a neat characteristic to them. They're kind of refined rustic. They're really well done. Great grinds. Nice fit and finish. You've got a nishiji or pear skin finish, which is pretty smooth, kind of a mottled finish. And they've got this one's got a really crisp kanji and the horse logo on it. Nicely done. And then you've got kind of a sandblast finish on the blade road, and then you got the core steel showing at the edge. Left side of the blade has some embossed kanji as well, and similar treatment. They've done a nice job polishing the spine, rounding the corners, same with the choil, very comfortable. The box edge, it was an okay edge. I'd give it a 4 or maybe a 5 out of 10. These will definitely get really sharp for you. I've got the 240 Gyuto in this model, or this line, and it'll get really sharp. The steel holds an edge well, but these are really nice core steel on these. So the blade is stiff, nice and straight. These have a fairly flat heel section, which is the whole style of this line of knives. They're flat at the heel. So let's take a look. This should be no exception. So this it flows into a stop. So you've got a flat heel, so it stops right there. And you can see you've got about a third of the blade as a flat section on it. And it stops into a flat section at the heel, a little bit of belly towards the tip, but a fairly low tip, so I'm not going to rock real high. It's digging in right there. So a little rock over short stuff, but it should work really well for a variety of techniques as long as you're not trying to rock high with it. And you can see what I'm talking about with board clearance there. It's hard for me to get my hand around in the way I'm contorted here trying to do this with the camera being straight down, but You'll get some clearance with that, but I think with a smaller handle would just be more appropriate for the feel of the knife and the ergonomics and give you even more board clearance. But again, just my opinion. So these are pretty sweet. So if you're looking for a longer petty this might make a fabulous line knife. You know, it's reactive carbon, but only at the edge, and it's stainless clad, nice and stiff. It's just, you know, nice performing knife, but a little bit robust. Again, put a different handle on it, you got a whole different knife, but this could be an awesome line knife. So there you have the Gihei Blue No. 2 Nashiji Tall Petty 165mm knife.